Should we talk about Chris Wellesby?
Well, we could. We need a little break so I can wind the tape around when I get that far, if I get that creative with it, which I don't think I will after what just went on last week. But yes, let's talk about Chris Wellesby and his film because it's a really great. First of all, I had a question. Was it we actually at Cine Salon whenever the Galaxy Suite came out, we played one of the programs. I think there were two or three, if I remember correctly. Is that the way it was, or there was more than one Galaxy program, correct? Or
Oh
no?
yeah, there were a whole series.
That's what I thought. But it was more. It was how many? Do you remember?
I don't know because I was in Paris at the time, and Haller came over and showed two or three programs in Paris, but there were different ones. There were more. I mean, it was depending on which prints he could get when. I remember one of the shows. I was sitting with a friend of mine who's Russian, and she's an artist, and she's very, very intuitive and brilliant. And she'd been a brain surgeon before changing and doing, photography and video.
That's
and,
an
and
interesting shift.
so he showed the most beautiful films by Jordan Belson and Fishinger and Hillary Harris. And at the end of the program, he introduced the last film that was a dance film, and he talked about how it tied into the theme and everything. And he showed this film by Amy Greenfield. And my friend next to me said, I don't understand. All the films were so amazing and brilliant, but what's this? This is not interesting. And I said, that's his wife. And then she said, it's fantastic. He's blinded by love.
Pip, you just did the most
It's so
perfect thing, and it's on tape. This will introduce Amy's love letter, which explicates exactly what you just said. This is perfect timing. So, do you mind if we show that instead of Chris's right now, and then we'll, yeah, come back. Okay, so we'll be back in a second. That was great. Thank you. That was, I don't know if it was on purpose, but that was excellent. Good. Blinded by love. Well, actually, I shouldn't make fun of this. This is very sad, but you'll. It's very deep and heartfelt too. Okay, hold on.
Okay, I'm shooting, so you can.
What?
I am shooting now.
Oh.
So you can go ahead and
Hi,
start.
I'm Amy Greenfield. Robert Haller and I were married for 41 wonderful years. I just love him so much. I miss him so much. It's like a hunger inside that won't stop. I miss him. And this is a wonderful thing that you're doing, giving a tribute to Robert. And I hope I can contribute some with some personal things and some work things. And thank you so much. We met, our whole marriage and our whole life was intertwined with filmmakers. There were so many filmmakers that Robert helped. He helped filmmakers in the whole field when they did an internet piece on Robert. 1,000 people responded because he has continually helped the filmmakers of all sorts and bring them together from different areas. And I'm so proud of him. I just wish you were here now. I just miss him so much you can't imagine. So we met because he was working as the director of Pittsburgh Filmmakers at the time, and he started something called the Filmmakers Network, where filmmakers would send their work and he would choose who got to be toured around the United States. And so I sent something called Dervish, and he was almost not going to look at it because he said, oh, it's some ethnic dance, and it was not. It's an avant-garde piece on me spinning for 15 minutes while the video is doing various things. It's keeps changing light and direction, and it goes until I'm possessed at the end of the film for 15 minutes, and I fall. I can't stand up anymore, and then I stand up, and I spun with a sheet just a sheet, and me nude. And Robert fell in love with that. And then, so he called me and to tell me. And that's how we started our acquaintance, by telephone from Pittsburgh to New York. And then I get a phone call that he wanted to invite me down because he had invited the great filmmaker Howard Hawks to speak and show her his work at filmmakers. And Howard Hawks died in the meantime, and I substituted for Howard Hawks, who had just died. Yes, so that's how Robert and I met. And I went down, and I didn't know what I was going to show, and I decided, I had a work in progress called Videotape for a Woman and a Man, and I'll show that. But I needed a different kind of deck that they had, and typical of Robert, he went around the city until he found that deck, and he carried it by hand to where I was going to show the work. And he was always carrying things. The beginning of our relationship was him always carrying things for me. And so I gave this, and that's how we met. And a little while after that, he called and he said he'd like to come to New York and see me there. And there was going to be an opening at the Museum of Holography, and I was making holograms, and Robert was really interested in them because his background, people don't know it, but his background was in physics. And he never, when he went to college, he found that he wasn't made out to be a physicist, and that's when he started getting interested in film and found film. So he was just thrilled to go to the Museum of Holography, and that was our first meeting. It was that date, and it was wonderful with all the holograms. And I have one of the holograms here. Maybe we could get a shot of that later. Yeah.
You can do that.
Okay. So Robert, on the first date, said, "I'm going to marry you." And I had just been through a divorce, and nothing could have been further from my mind. And I said, "No, this is ridiculous. I don't know you." And he said, "No, I am going to marry you." And he said, "You're the first woman I've really dated seriously and want to marry." And is what happened. Robert and our courtship was Robert sending me all the things he received about avant-garde film, and I would get large packages all the time from Robert in the mail, and I read all the things he was interested in, and all the people, and I started to get to know him that way. And finally, here's a picture of us at our wedding. We finally got married. This is at my parents' house.
Higher. Is it your parents' house?
Yes.
Okay.
And we were obviously madly in love. And that was the beginning of our marriage. And we moved to, I was living in Soho. Oh, I remember what happened. I said he'd have to move to New York. Oh, there's things in between that I've forgotten. I said he would have to move to New York or the relationship wouldn't work. And he had wanted to move to New York. And just at that time, Robert started what was called the National Alliance of Media Arts Centers. And they had a meeting. Robert was always bringing the field together, and he brought people from all parts of the field, from Hollywood, from Jonas Mekas and the avant-garde, and they met in Pittsburgh to discuss projects that they could do together. And Robert was the head of that. And at that meeting, Jonas needed someone to help keep anthology film archives alive, and he decided Robert was his man, that he was the head of the field and he was going to do it. And that's what happened. So Robert got this offer from Jonas, so he was able to move to come to New York. And soon our relationship really flowered, and he was able to move to New York, and we lived in Soho. And every night he would stay up late with it was then a typewriter, and he would type things that he was writing. He was writing weekly notes for anthology, the filmmakers' notes, my parents really liked Robert a lot. They got along. That was really terrific, and so I had them meet, and Robert got along with them, and soon we decided on a wedding date. It was June 14th, and next year we got married. And we had a wonderful marriage. And he supported my work so much, I just couldn't have done it without him. There was no way. It was just, everything was recognition of what I was able to do. And so that was the core of our marriage. I don't know what else to say. It was just kept going, and it was so wonderful. And soon Anthology got him invited to Europe, and that was a wonderful thing, touring around Europe and showing films by Joseph Cornell. The Anthology has a collection. Joseph Cornell donated his collection of films to Anthology, and Robert toured them around Europe, from Italy, from Bologna to Lithuania, all around to Paris, London, and that was another wonderful high point of what we did together. We did so much together, and every time he would leave, I would miss him so much, but then he would come back. And now he's with me, but I still am missing him. It's like a hunger. I hunger for him when I'm alone. And he had a hard time at the end of his life, but he kept going. He said, Winston Churchill said, never give up. And he had always been not overweight, but had a little paunch belly on him, but he lost a lot of weight at the end of his life, and his face became so young and so beautiful. It was amazing, this transformation that he would, when he was alive, he would hide the connection that he felt with the filmmakers. He was always, I'll go backwards again, he was always very self-effacing. He would do so many things and not take credit for them. And he just wanted the filmmakers to get all the credit, and they had a dinner that he organized, the whole dinner, and they had gave awards to the people who preserve film all over the film, from MGM, United Pictures, all over, and Jonas. And he spoke, and they had from the avant-garde, from Hollywood. He brought them all together, and that was Robert. He brought people together, just the way he brought me together with him. And this is my love letter to Robert. He was so beautiful, and that beauty shone more and more towards the end of his life. And now he has this wonderful tribute to him that I'm happy I can contribute this love letter to. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.